Hi, I'm Cam. Join me and 4 world-leading AI researchers at Amii, including the expert whose poker AI beats some of the world's best poker players. Together, we explore how that breakthrough is shaping real-world business decisions, advancing AI bilingualism, and redefining how organizations tackle complex challenges. Because the future of AI isn't theoretical, it's strategic. Your next move starts at Amii. Is somebody actually teaching us how to play?
2 pair 7 tie.
There's a reason that the business world, I think, likes to talk about poker. Because I think there's a style of decision making that's very similar.
It didn't work. You didn't
Ooh,
psych.
my.
I didn't say oh, maybe I psyched my
You're coming in hard.
That's all they have as a clip.
As we can all just tell by playing right now, it's hard to figure out why you would make any given decision. Is because we don't know what cards the other players have. And if we knew what cards the other players would have, then I would not have bet on the last round and lost my 75 because I would have known that Bailey has 3 kings. And so if we think about games that are classically thought of around AI, of like chess or Go, those games are all perfect information games is what we call them, because you can see everything that you need to know to be able to make your decision. And in poker, you don't have all the information to make your decision, and that's what makes it tricky.
Yeah, AI+X for us is really about getting people who are bilingual to drive out AI's impact in multiple domains. A lot of AI's impact over the coming decades is going to be driven out by people who deeply understand a domain like chemistry or clinical practice. At the same time, deeply understand AI to be able to push forward the forefront of AI to be able to solve really meaningful problems in those domains.
I think though, what we're thinking about with AI+X is, one, the application of X is probably not poker. That's not the ones we're thinking about. We're thinking about more impactful things, whether that be precision health that's building health systems that are guided to specific patient needs, or whether that's material analysis and building new materials that's going to help us find better solar panels that are more efficient. I think those kinds of applications that we're thinking about, they obviously have high positive yield to society as a whole. And if we're going to train people who can think both about what's important to the chemistry and think about how do our AI systems going to help drive that forward, then we're exactly pushing the good.
It's funny, like AI+X has just always been a natural thing for companies because they are the +X. They are doing that part. And so it's not necessarily a new mentality for businesses. It's kind of a new mentality for those of us in AI working with businesses and really thinking about that impact.
The big move in the last 3 years is we made a very large, what we've called the AI+X cohort hire. And so as part of this cohort hire, we've hired 21 faculty members. 15 of those faculty members are not in the traditional field of computer science, not in the traditional AI field, which is usually housed within computer science. So they are in the faculty of science doing biological sciences, or doing physics, or doing chemistry. They're in the engineering department doing robotics, doing chemical engineering. We have people in the faculty of arts who are doing political science. And so we've really been looking for people who are leading in their field, leading how AI is going to change that field. We believe that as AI starts to change all of these fields, then we're going to have the leaders of all of those fields, because AI is going to be the focal point of that. And so I don't know of almost any other university in North America that's made that kind of commitment of 15 profs over about as many months to try to push that forward. As we are emphasizing this with a large part of the cohort of people we brought into Amii, it means the students we're graduating are going to be more ready to think about how do we apply AI to hard problems. And that could be your hard business problem. So we are training people who are better suited to come in and not just know the AI technology, but to know how do I use it to actually get something good to happen. And then the other side of it is that it might be that your X is one of the X's that we hired people into. It might be that you work in the space of medical devices. And that's a place that we have expertise actually operating at that intersection. And maybe you want to talk to us because we can actually do research that's going to directly advance something that's really important to you.
One thing I really like, especially about AI+X and what it makes visible, is that I feel like working with a clinical collaborator, I co-lead a lab with a clinician, us working together in the same environment and having, again, a computing science student sitting right next to someone with kinesiology, sitting right next to a medical resident who's in our medical training program, having those people work together, I think it almost makes where the branches of the tree of knowledge meet, it makes that more apparent. And so we try to drive for that. I think that there's so many things we could study. There's all these leaves on the tree that we are very, very appealing, and I could chase any one of them. But I think working in that interdisciplinary environment and having checks and balances, we can start to see what are those pivotal points? What are the pivotal questions that we can start to ask? And sometimes it's very painful and it's not fun to try to answer those questions. But I find it that interdisciplinary environment, that AI plus something else, allows us to start to steer our research and steer all those resources and that human effort towards understanding something that is truly, truly fundamental. And often it leads us to go up the level of abstraction as well, to start to see that the problems we were studying are in fact sub-problems of a much larger and more all-encompassing problem to start to poke at.
One of the reasons it matters a lot, and we're seeing this, you see headlines of 95% of AI proof of concepts in business are failing. It turns out if you point AI at the wrong problem, it's going to solve the wrong problem, and that's not going to be that helpful. So understanding is why we want people in specific domains. It's why when we work with companies, we spend a lot of time up front making sure we're helping solve things that are valuable, not just getting a chatbot into their company. It's what's actually going to drive meaningful value for you going forward.
I mean, especially here in Alberta, we have a sustained history of investment in AI, and especially in coupling AI to hard problems. So that gives you a 20-year head start. If you're thinking about how you engage, especially with our researchers and the work that Amii does, you can almost think of it as you have a booster rocket, a 20-year booster rocket, which is giving you that extra level of acceleration, expertise, and also risk mitigation, because there's been people who've been thinking about coupling AI with hard problem areas for such a sustained amount of time. There's a history there. I think that's really important for business to understand. It's not oh yeah, we should do this because it seems nifty or it might be really glamorous or it could be fun. It's because, no, if you want to maintain your competitive advantage in the decade ahead, adopting AI early and starting to couple it with innovative business problems is going to be the way forward to create the most value for your business and your shareholders.
Bringing more nuance into the conversations, we found on the research side, needing to have people who kind of spoke the language of the domain that they're working in was some nuance that got brought in. For businesses, it's what's the nuance that you've learned as a company, or are pockets of knowledge across the organization that get brought into something either as you're deciding what to go after, or deciding how it should be deployed, when it should be deployed, what ground truth means in your business setting. All of those things, I think, are the nuance that gets brought into the discussions now. We're seeing a shift there versus just, let's do some AI. I assume it'll help. We don't want businesses using AI the way you play poker.
The businesses have a different fail state than our experiments. People lose their jobs if they use the wrong adoption of technology. If they adopt it too slow, they adopt it too fast, they adopt the wrong one. So if they're not able to work with experts or hire these bridges, it increases the risk of adoption. So having more bridges means more opportunities to pick the right advancement. They want AI dust. Everyone wants AI dust, but they don't necessarily have the context to step back and say what AI, or even should AI be here.
Yeah, and it's not that I want to gatekeep. I want AI to be everywhere, but it
the
is
right AI for the right place.
Yeah, and that's I think where the AI+X comes in, that really getting subject matter experts to work hand in hand with AI experts, not just having a domain expert download something off the internet and hope it works.
I think as well there's a huge advantages in terms of differentiator. If you're looking for a differentiated advantage in business, if you're deploying the same AI models that everyone else is downloading from the internet, you don't have a big moat. But if you're trying to figure out how do you build an environment where you do have barriers to entry, where you can separate your business model from other people's business, I think some of the real gems are coming out of the AI+X environment. That's where not only do you have already probably an idea and a foundational technology which is going to be differentiated from your competitors and from the rest of that sort of business environment. But also the talent pathway flowing in gives you that amazing accelerant and that head start in pursuing that business objective or that entire line of that trajectory of value creation. So I think that differentiation also helps, and AI+X really feeds that.
Well, as soon as you go into AI+X, you're leaving like that clean environment, that controlled lab or the simulations, and automatically saying, we know there's other contexts here. We know there's human aspects. We know there's like literally measurements of the world. And so you're now going to start asking completely different questions. And if you're just in that clean environment, if you're in our nice little bubble of CS and AI, you're not going to perhaps think, oh, I need to solve this aspect of algorithms, because you're not realizing that's a problem when you take it out of that clean environment.
I think I saw a lot in the past is AI people coming up with a problem that they found interesting.
Yes.
And now we are looking outside where we can't just redefine the problem to fit our solution method.
Right. Agreed.
We have a real world ground truth, and that's what we have to
100%
understand.
Agreed. And I think that that's a natural consequence of we've actually started to solve the problems we pose for ourselves. And then we started looking for other ones.
Right.
And there's only so much of making up your own problems before you
Yeah.
realize maybe we should be tackling the ones that actually matter.
Yeah, I mean, I guess why businesses would care about. I think there's I like to think of this as like there's a 10% answer, a 10x answer, and I'll steal an analogy that I actually can't remember where I heard it. That when electrification first happened, there was like a 10% moment in how it helped manufacturing, where it turned out just having lights on at night meant that like you could work a little bit later, or you weren't like, screwing up manufacturing something. So rethinking the entire process made manufacturing 10 times or multiple orders of magnitude faster when you electrified the entire process and what you could do with electrification around manufacturing. I think we're seeing the same thing with businesses right now. There's like a 10% answer of like there's a process here that you can do, there's something there that can improve efficiency. So this is where this like AI+X thing is helping with like 10x improvement or multiple orders of magnitude improvement for your entire area.
I'm really excited about systems that are going to continually learn from their experience. I think that we're going to see a shift. I could be wrong about this, but I think we're going to see a shift away from these very large pre-trained models over everyone's data to models that are trained and are smart about your data and that are focused on that. And then your data is going to keep coming in, and they're going to be able to continuously adapt to the experience that they have with your problems and your situation.
Oh yeah, and you should
All
have said,
in.
and I'm going all in on that.
I missed it.
Do it again. We can always they can cut it. I just want to go all in that question about what am I most excited about in the months ahead with AI. I really do think that there's a new wave of AI-human interaction which is coming. It's not just chatbots which are going to be interacting through text interfaces. We're seeing whole new ways for people and machines to work together, to collaborate together, to cooperate. And I think a lot of us around the table are excited about this area of research. So I think that's one area where like it is truly a next move in AI+X is the more tight coupling of humans and machines in all the meaningful decision-making roles that we have in our daily life. And that's one thing that I'm very excited to see in the months ahead.
AI not being used by the wealthy and powerful, but by normal people who are able to vibe code something to make their job a little bit easier, who can have an OpenClaw agent to help them remember to keep in touch with their family regularly. Just that kind of bringing AI accessibility that you don't, as important as a PhD in AI is, that you don't necessarily need it to use AI.
It's not just the tech people, it's not just the researchers being like, how could we use AI here? It's literally everyone asking, what would AI mean in our world? And I think that's going to be really, really exciting as it keeps kind of jumping and changing.
I think that Matt kind of mentioned it. The democratization and the impact you're seeing of AI in a lot of areas, I think is just starting to begin. The fact that a lot of these things are being deployed and packaged up so that it's useful to folks in biology, in chemistry, in medicine, to drive forward meaningful impact on people's lives is the really cool part that I think we're just starting to see the early days of. If we can do anything to, accelerate the ability for a drug to get to market or to solve cancer, like any of these things, which we're in the very early days of seeing that impact. To me, that's super exciting, and I think that's just going to compound over the next number of years.
King 10 takes it.
Took me out, Cam. Yeah, you did.